Namaskar, I'm Harpreet Kaur and I welcome you all to our live and interactive session. This is our 5-day, 5-hour online training program on power of audio in education brought to you by Central Institute of Educational Technology, that is CIET NCERT New Delhi. You're watching us live on PME Vidya channels 6 to 12 and also on our YouTube handle NCERT Official. Today we are in day 4 of the training session where the topic that we have taken up is podcast, a trendsetter. We all know that these days almost everybody on social networking sites seems on doing podcasts on various topics. And yes, there are a lot of people doing podcasts irrespective of their age or their background, and they're inviting guests. So it's kind of a trend because it is slightly different from an interview. That's what I feel. But how it is a trendsetter, what exactly are its features that are making it different from other formats of interviewing people or knowing their views and everything. We will learn more about it, and of course how it is beneficial when it comes to education, because whatever topics that we are taking up in this training program, it is strictly restricted to their role in of course allocating educational resources to the people out there and in making education accessible to all through various formats. So if you have questions related to this, you can always give us a call, write an email to us or message us. Please take down our phone number, which is 8800440559. We also have a dedicated email ID for you, that is training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in. And you're watching us live on our YouTube handle NCERT Official as well. So please go to the live chat box and send us relevant questions. Do not mark your attendance, that is not required. And who's there with me today in taking this conversation forward? So yes, it's time for me to introduce you all to my guest. We are joined by Mr. Parveen Kumar. Let's welcome him. Sir, namaskar and very warm welcome to you.
Namaskar, ma'am. Namaskar.
Let me share with everybody that sir is Director, English Language and Communication from American University of Technology, Tashkent, Uzbekistan. And with sir, I'm going to know a lot more about this wonderful topic. Sir, before you delve deep into the presentation and you of course bring us those insights, I request you to kindly offer us a glimpse of what exactly you'll be covering in the session today.
You used the word accessibility or inclusiveness is the sense. So we'll be talking about podcasting as a trendsetter today. In the last 3 days in this course on power of audio in education, we have talked about community radio. We did talk about how audio has become something which is an alternative education tool.
Yes.
So today we'll be talking about how we can defend audio as something which is a trendsetter. We'll be talking about how you can make audio e-content and you can become an educational podcaster.
Right.
We shall also be connecting today's session to skill-oriented audio usage in education and beyond. So all this we are going to take up today. The focus is going to be how after this session you can be a podcaster.
Absolutely, sir. I'm looking forward to be one, and I'm sure that the National Education Policy 2020 also has recommended the use of these resources in a big way to serve the purposes of equity, equality and inclusivity in education, as you have mentioned. So now I'll request you to kindly go ahead with your presentation, and there will be questions by the end of the session.
Sure. Thank you so much. So here we start the journey. So my fellow journeymen, right now we people are online, and you can see one thing, that while you listen to it, actually even if YouTube claims when we are live that it's a visual, audio and visual, but still we know that without audio, the visual is of no meaning to us on YouTube. So it means this world is that world of audio. So if I can refer to something that I do remember from my childhood, most of us are familiar with it now. We talk about that main samay hoon tag. So that was audio. We didn't have probably the face of that, but we still know that it has been a trendsetter. Be it radio, which is a traditional one, Akashvani or this thing which is there, be it the podcasts today, or it is something about sending audio messages to your family members and all. We just know that podcasting has been a trendsetter. What exactly is a trend when we move on? Trend is something which is popular, and trend is something which is just like people start liking it, people start following it, and people start joining that movement. However, we are not late, but still we are somewhere where podcasting has already become a trend in the world. This is what today's presentation is focused on. we'll be having less of training but more of invitation to get trained to be a podcaster for the sake of education. So this is the first session. All the learners who are there, all of you remember that the first session was talking about power of audio, the policy perspective, need and scope. The very first word, even you know this thing that when we asked our expert, Ms. Shirley Jacob, the very first three words from her side were audio is everywhere. I mean, that says how it has to start. Audio is everywhere. Then we move on to the second session. The second session had a word that became my first word today in this live session, in which our expert Dr. Dipendra said, in fact, what we talk about public broadcaster is inclusiveness. So that was second session. I mean, I have to justify why this particular thing has become a trend for all of us. And then the third session, just yesterday, when we were talking about community radio, we were talking about internet radio, which is iRadio. Anything is possible now. So what was there from Dr. R. Sridhar? Radio, which was local, has become a global one. I guess all these three things, already there is a hence proved or hence justified thing that I'm talking about right now, which is podcast as a trendsetter. So I would say this thing that this is about vibe. Audio is the new vibe. And what exactly is a vibe? Vibe is that flow, that energy, that enthusiasm, that interest that we have. Vibe is the reason, like, you know, you go to a restaurant, you go to a party, you listen to some music, or you create a very fine reading room for yourself, or you just start reading a book, or maybe you just tuned into this session. What is the vibe? Maybe you can put it in the comments also. The vibe is energetic, the vibe is passive, the vibe is participative, inclusive vibe, or what exactly is the nature of it? I mean, that's the style of this thing. So audio is the new style statement. Why this is? The reason is, we all are from the tradition of speech. I mean, we proud people, from India, we know that our parampara, the construction of our languages, every single thing has moved on from one generation to another generation. And that's same with every other place. While sitting in Uzbekistan, another beautiful country, I'm in Tashkent, I see this thing that our history, our culture, it has moved on basically through audio. So audio doesn't need a return. Audio just needs a kind of reinforcement that today we should talk about, and we should also defend it. The vibe. Audio is a tradition, as I said. And there is one thing which is the fundamental thing about audio. Why audio or podcasting should be considered a trend setter. You know, I'm not talking about creating a trend or audio is becoming a trend. Audio has been a trend setter. Then things came. I mean, Akashvani remains still, 80-90% of Indians were touched by Akashvani, and then radio is more accessible. It has got more equality. It has got more inclusiveness for people. So audio has got a thing which is called intimacy. Now, intimacy is something which is coming near, which is more personal. Intimacy is also something which is about becoming friends. It is also about care. So I believe that I wish to pass on to you that the vibe of audio, which is a tradition for all of us, carries one thing which is about belongingness. So audio does have belongingness. There is something on the screen. You can easily see something on maybe three things this side, two things this side. So these are all podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, on JioSaavn and other platforms wherever we listen to podcasts. I wish to differentiate between a podcast and a video. A video requires you to see it. A podcast requires you to listen to it. That can be one thing. So pod is audio, cast is share. So podcast is audio sharing, audio transmission that we do, which started from the satellite based, or you can say narrowcasting and broadcasting, which has moved on to internet based casting to people. So we've got three podcasts on one side. One is Cyber Smart Kids by a child, Mantavya Sharma. Then we have got another one by a child who is a student of 6th grade, Kiran Kanodia, India's first Blade Runner, a biography. There's another one, the person talking to you right now, Angrezi Bhasha Mein Career Ka Antarrashtriya Bhavishya, the career in which we can go maybe after learning English. And then there's another one which is Ekman Podcasts, and there is another one which is Kids Vani. So Kids Vani, like Akashvani or Teacher Vani or something, Page to the Stage, is one group that we'll be mentioning today to all of you. So like what Page to the Stage is doing, it is going to the students and it is recording their podcast, storytelling, theater, audio drama, which has been a core part of radio all around. So Page to the Stage, Kids Vani is doing that podcast. Now, Ekman podcast is by two brothers, Eklavya and Mantavya. I'm going to play one of those podcasts to you. And after playing the podcast, I'll be telling you what's the reason of putting it here as a defense of audio as a trendsetter. So I'm going to switch over to the window to the browser and I'll quickly play this thing to all of you, which is there on the screen. It is Cyber Smart Kids. What about a small child talking about cyber safety that would attract people? At the moment attraction happens, we know that's the trend. So here it is, small podcast for you, just maybe some 30-second or 1 minute. We'll listen to it and then I'll come over to defend why small children, these people who are just there in the kindergarten, should also become part of the trend. The reason is, a trend is when right from the child in the family till the elder to the family, everyone likes it. I call that a trend. Let's play it.
नहीं देते मुझे किताब मत हटा दो मुझे मेरी नहीं है गलती किसने दिया फोन मम्मा ने दिया पापा ने दिया भाई ने दिया कोरोना ने दिया मैंने तो नहीं दिया फोन अब मैं क्या करूं मैं नहीं देते मुझे किताब और फिर से मांगती है दाने दाने का हिसाब नमस्कार दोस्तों ये है कहानी बच्चों की जुबानी इस कहानी में है मैं भी आप भी सब बच्चे मगर जब बच्चों की गलती की बात नहीं हो रही हम तो कह रहे हैं बच्चे मन के सच्चे आप जो उन्हें सिखाएंगे वो वही सीख जाएंगे आज का
Chali. Here we move on. After this thing, this was in Hindi. It is about a child who's talking about cyber safety. Of course, the script was supported by the parents. I'm one of the proud parents. Me and my wife, both of us, try to train Mantavya to speak about it. So Mantavya is at present, when we talk about it, is interested in podcasting, trying to move away from maybe gaming and screen time. So this became a trend for the family, that what alternative you will give to the children if you wish that they should move on from screen time, maybe gaming alternatives. So anything which becomes an alternative and a positive alternative is a trend. So the update to all of you is, which I wish that all of us should also start. We are 4 members at present, part of this group, in which you see 2 of them, the brothers, they got this national award this year, 24-25, which was there in Shillong. Our team, CIET, NCERT was also there organizing it there. And these trophies are a testimony of one thing, that dear friends, when you people are watching this video, let's commit ourselves to one thing. As we say, charity begins at home, so the trend also begins at home. So we have got this trend in the family that I'm presenting to all of you with the commitment that we should continue on our end, and I invite you all to also defend podcasting with a purpose. So this is an update, a news for more blessings for these 2 young podpreneurs brothers. Now, I need to defend what I wish to say. When I'm telling you all that podcasting is something which is a trend, let me give the data to you. The reason is, why do we need to do this? CIET has got wonderful episodes in the past as well, where we start training teachers and every learner worldwide that you can learn podcasting, the tools and everything. But when you learn something, when you buy something, when you join a movement, when you wish to become part of a change, incremental change, you should have a reason, you should have some basis to defend it. Let's have the basis today in this session on podcasting audio as a trendsetter. You see the data, the podcast listeners worldwide, 584.1 million podcast listeners worldwide. In 2025, we have got a big part of market in terms of money, investments and earnings as well. And there's an estimate about this rise of podcast listeners. By 2027, we expect that there will be 651.7 million listeners worldwide. And believe me, all the data about such positive things is always less. There will be more people who may not come to this data. This is a trend which is happening, and the presentation which will be uploaded on the CIET website after the session will have the link to the website from where this data has been taken. Now, this is interesting. I'll start with the India Today citation at present. It says India is already the third largest podcast listening market. Already you know this, because you have been into Spotify, maybe other applications as well. And our CIET team also is making podcasts. Audiobooks are there. We have got those QR codes in the textbooks coming up from NCERT that you can scan and go to audio. So India is already the third largest podcast listening market after China and the US. And we have got 57.6 million listeners. And this data is not from 2025. Last year, this was the data. And then we are talking about something very crucial, which is for the people who wish to get into business. Why I'm saying this? Why we should always be podcasters? We can be people who start giving people opportunities to be podcasters. So in case you are willing to start a podcasting unit, you wish to go for some startup on podcasting maybe, or you wish to start something in your university or institution, or maybe school as well. So the compound annual growth rate of 25.5% is estimated from 25 to 33. In these 8-9 years, this is a good growth. I mean, this is the growth rate of podcasting. And I'm really glad to share this. I was surprised equally that there are 25 million people in India who tune into a podcast at least once each day. I don't need to search them. You don't need to search them. You can just expect that it is something, TV and internet, or maybe YouTube, or maybe other video platforms, people have to make choices. Audio is something which is considered to be the safest one. So that's why we have got more people. And another one, one day is fine, but what about per week? 25 million listen one or more times per week. So one way or the other, podcasting is coming into your life. That has been happening. And this is also this, that we go from 500,000 listeners and then we'll be growing more. And who doesn't know about Man Ki Baat? I mean, that has been a trendsetter in the world. If you imagine and you try to go back to the history of Man Ki Baat program, you will realize that it came at that time when we started getting audio over the internet as well. Now, the same platform which is providing us this thing, Akashvani, has got their applications as well. You will be able to listen it on YouTube, on the websites also, so that iRadio happens. It's already in the trend. What has made it possible? The second screenshot on the screen that you see is about audiobooks which are available on the CIET website that you should look at, and these are very fine productions. I'm saying it after listening to them, downloading them, using them in my teaching as well. So there are two things that have created this trend of audio, this preference for audio, this maybe this victory for audio or podcasting. The first catalyst for audio becoming a trendsetter or podcasting becoming a trendsetter is affordable internet. I mean, affordability does not mean that it is free. Affordability means that more and more people are able to spend some money on it. So that's affordability that we are talking about. And there's another one. Don't imagine that a person in the village will not be listening to something of science. Do not imagine that a person sitting in the big rich house of a city, be it Mumbai or Delhi or any other place, will not be listening to folklore, folk stories, or maybe some stories from the villages. People have got very nice changed content habits now. I have a habit of listening to history. I would be listening to maybe some spirituality content as well. I'll be happy to listen to the Prime Minister's Man Ki Baat. I'll be happy to listen to the podcasts created by CIET. I'll be happy to listen to podcasts created by my students as well. So I've got content habits which have completely changed. People do not have a single dimensional interest area now. Everyone can be interested in everything these days. You will be happy to maybe, because you have internet. So, when you scroll through reels, you are moving through shorts, you do watch content. And the same way, that interest that people have, people like to eat variety of foods. People like to have variety of decorations, even clothing they decide. People like to go to all parts of the world, be it maybe they'll be happy to go to Registan the same way they'll be happy to go to the mountains also. So it means our content priorities have changed. So these two things have brought the trend. If you feel that you also agree to it, Of course, we people are easily able to see you as well. Now this is one thing which has been the foundation here that we wish to introduce to you. There's a word called pedagogy, there's a thing called andragogy, there's a thing called heutagogy. So there are three gojis basically. Pedagogy is instruction based, we all know this thing, we all are into education. That has been, from Bloom taxonomy, and then we have moved on. Andragogy is something which is about teaching adults, people who are mature enough, that after the teenage, during the teenage. Then heutagogy is, which is self-driven learning. Like you can talk about Nai Talim by Mahatma Gandhi here as well. So these three gojis have got something, something, and something which is relevant to the current problems, challenges. You pick up something from pedagogy, you pick up something from andragogy, you pick up something from heutagogy, and then you make another goji, another concept, another philosophy of learning. We call it skill goji. Why this is connected with the this sound of change of audio as a trend setter? Let me share the reason with you. Whatever I do, I record something like, hey everyone, I'm talking to you. This is becoming my speaking skill. I'll be doing editing as well. I'll be producing some audio promotion material maybe. I'll be doing some audio books and everything. Any activity, any subject which is being taught in the schools or colleges should be treated as a skill and should be delivered as a skill as well, where people are able to learn it and then use it further. That's how podcasting is coming into trend, because you teach them this, they make assignments, they make content, the teacher is making content, the teacher is doing assessment of it. So it's a cycle of learning. I mean, both the parties are supporting each other. And what is education through social media? Eduso media. I have got a background sorry, I have got a background of this thing, education through social media and audio MOOCs. Have we ever thought of this thing, audio MOOCs? MOOCs in audio? I mean, when we talk about people who have got the four quadrants of MOOCs, like there should be a video or digital material, discussion material, assessment, discussion forum, I would believe that if someone is willing to create audio MOOCs, that is possible. You can create discussions. We do have such discussions in our WhatsApp groups, Telegram groups, where I send you audio and there's a discussion. The Viva which happens has discussions. So education through social media started in 2010-11. In India, you can easily search on any browser. You say Eduso Media SoundCloud or Eduso Media podcasts, you will find it. In this journey of maybe 10 years, 15 years, I have realized it with my friends that when you deliver something to them which is interesting, I'm not saying trendy, but which is interesting and slightly different, slightly weird maybe, they join it. There has to be an ethical conspiracy. I mean, as a teacher, I have to think for the long run. I have to see that if I'm making them record something, will I train them? Will I do the feedback as well? So all these things were done in the Eduso Media project, which started from India and it is appreciated around the world. In Uzbekistan also I have been implementing it, where we use social media, then we move on to educational podcasts and we share them. So these podcasts, like one of the Eduso Media projects is called Learning Radio Podcast. The teachers are putting their content, the students are also putting their assignments there. So I believe that that's a wonderful thing, because content sharing, content dissemination with inclusiveness and accessibility, that's the clause here. I mean, education, like there is one thing that I have learned from that Arizona State University, which is our partner university here. They say one thing, that educational institution should not be recognized by the people it excludes. It should be recognized by the people it includes. So that inclusiveness is something which matters. The curious case of omnipresent, present everywhere. Audio trend is that thing, that it is part of learning for the last 15 years, at least for me, and it has been in your life as well. These are some platforms that I should be sharing with you right now. If you look at them, you see, you have heard about Spotify, Spotify is for listening. But what about Spotify for creators? After the session, just go online, find out into the playlists of NCERT, CIET, that we had sessions on how to become a podcaster on Spotify for creators and Hubhopper. The training material is there, but introduction is happening today. Spotify for creators is a platform free of cost for anyone to become a podcaster. Now, who's a podcaster? The person who records an audio and puts it online for people to see. However, dear friends, there has to be three things, I believe. There has to be consistency, there has to be ethical making of content, and there has to be collaboration if you become a podcaster. I repeat, ethics should be followed. I mean, don't take music from someone and put it online. Do not maybe read something which is not allowed for you to be read because of copyright. Be consistent. Not just one day you put something online and after that you're not consistent. And do collaborate. These three things will put you equal to any good podcaster in the world, and podcasters are making good money. If I can see Amitabh Bachchan, I mean, right from the Prime Minister, if we start, if we can see all celebrities coming up and recording books, where are you? Where am I? Then both of us should also come and start recording things. Spotify for creators will give you that platform, will give you free of cost uploading. It is not difficult at all. The reason is technology just needs your time. The way you give it time, the more you learn. So Spotify for creators is one platform, free. Any number of podcasts you can upload and people can start listening on Spotify. Hubhopper, which is an Indian initiative, is a very good platform, but there are some charges. After some episodes you need to you need to give them some payment, and then they upload your podcasts. Podbean is also having some limitations in terms of free and paid. SoundCloud also has done that limitation, and the reason is these are commercial ones. They need to have money to manage things. Spotify is a big undertaking, so that is their project. Spotify for creators, Hubhopper, SoundCloud, and Podbean. These platforms are called distributors. You can upload your content, they distribute your content. The same way I publish a book, publisher is publishing it, the distributor is taking the book to the libraries, so they take it to the listeners or the readers. Now, this is just one idea, which is because I believe that I have got convinced to become an educational podcaster. Why I'm saying this? I have been fortunate to work with CIET team, NCERT for podcast trainings and all. And with that, I have been also fortunate and blessed to have 5 national awards for podcasting in the same competition that we mentioned earlier. And you also should get ready to do that. The reason is podcasting is fun. Podcasting is peaceful. Podcasting has got belongingness as well. So when you decide all this and how you will be the trendsetter today, I mean, you be the one who's the flag bearer. First, decide your course. Are you going to make a short course or a long course? Decide it. Select the platform, maybe Spotify for podcasters, Spotify for creators. Record your lessons. Today when I'm talking to you, you know that this video can be converted into audio and placed online. It means it is possible. You go to the lesson, put your mobile phone on maybe silent mode, start recording what you speak and use it. Audio has one thing which shouldn't come to your mind. I mean, I believe people who are amateurs, they shouldn't be afraid of doing mistakes, errors. Why I'm saying this, there's no parameter of perfection in audio. The story is interesting, the voice is not that way strong. Doesn't matter, the content was good. So the decoration can never substitute quality. Always need to remember this thing. Record your lessons after deciding the platform. Create some discussions with your students, with your colleagues, maybe someone around you. Go to the village, record those folk tales, old stories, history and everything. Then create discussions is done. Then host your podcast. Go to Spotify, go to Hubhopper, upload it with the descriptions. The same way you upload your YouTube video, the same way you upload something on maybe Facebook, maybe you create an album, you can do the same thing on Spotify for creators. And after all this thing, some of my friends here today watching this and later on as well, you also remember something called embedding. Embedding is when you read something on a website and suddenly you see a video and you can watch the video also. So inserting digital content on the same page is called embedding. Moodle is one of the learning management systems. Canvas is there. You can share all these things. So here we move on to introduce all these things to you. And anyone who knows this, Audacity, maybe we can see it on your comments as well. Audacity is a software which edits audio. You can learn it. Tutorials are there. Why do I mention this? Sometimes we feel we have to put some music and everything. So then Audacity can be used. Why I am tempted to share all this? The reason is I do not just wish to leave you with getting convinced and searching what to do. So dear friends, please remember, you need to decide your subject, decide the platform, record your lessons, go ahead, do discussions with people you wish to talk to, you love to talk to, and then upload them and let the world know that the next trendsetter is the one who's watching this video. So after Audacity, you will be good enough to put it. And one last thing before we conclude today's session, this presentation, and we move on to discussion. Audio is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. You and I need to decide whether we wish to be part of it or we wish to wait and some friend will come one day and drag you, Parveen, join it now. I say, I don't want to do it. Then he says, don't worry, just give me your voice. I will be the one who will be uploading it. So it means if you are not the speaker, then you can still become the one who is the kingmaker. I mean, you can be the one in the background, like all good directors of theater and movies do not act, but they make other people act. Someone has to be Dronacharya, someone has to be Krishna to guide Arjun, to guide Eklavya. So that's the concept that we are working on. If I wish to say one last thing to all of you, like when we talk about audio, audio will remain only audio and an MP3 file if you do not host it somewhere. And the moment you host it, you're becoming part of one of the finest educational renaissance movements in the world, because you become a podcaster, an educational podcaster. So it is here to stay. Ladies and gentlemen, we conclude the slides and we move on to a brief discussion. Your questions will also be taken. So I request all of you to remember the data as well. You need to remember that the celebrities, the leaders we appreciate, they're also doing it. And here it is, the stats. So we'll remember this and we move on to the first slide with the celebration of the vibe of audio and the belongingness it brings. And this is the word from my side. Audio is the new vibe. Audio is the new trendsetter. Over to our studio team as well.
Thank you so much, sir. Well, we do have questions for you, but I want to ask you whether you would like to go for demonstration first or should I ask questions?
We can go for questions.
Okay, sir. So I just want to understand one thing, that when we talk about education, we know that virtual reality, augmented reality is of course the new norm here. How do you think that AI, VR or other emerging technologies can play an important role when it comes to podcasting in terms of education?
You mentioned the word which is debated these days, like AI.
Yeah.
So AI. So I consider one thing, that AI is, like you said, GPT is there. So GPT AI is a general purpose technology. What is a general purpose technology for me is this mouse that I'm using to click the slides, the knife with which I will cut an apple, or maybe, I wondered when I entered school, my teachers used to hold the chalk in hand. Okay. Then I became a teacher, I found there are chalk holders. For me, that was also GPT, a general purpose technology, which is used. So AI is nothing more than general purpose technology. There is one thing here which is quite crucial to mention, which becomes a thing to smile at as well, that science made a knife to cut an apple. If you start killing people, so that is completely the choice of the one who's doing it. The same way, AR, VR, AI, how they redefine and change it, they make the content creator more powerful and also vulnerable. Okay. Why the vulnerability will be coming? Because if you get to ease to take up content, like there's a very nice platform called Notebook LM by Google. You can give it a PDF and it can create almost a human-like podcast for you. What do you do after it? Do you listen to it completely? Do you upload it with a disclaimer that it was created by Notebook LM? Good. If you don't do that, I would say AI is not dying. It's your creativity which is dying. So in this world of AI, augmented reality and everything, if you wish to use AI for audio, then you need to remember one thing, that the content has to be created by you with the help of any other tool. It has helped one thing, like there's one nice thing, that there are tools which will remove the noise which is there behind your audio. AI is good. So do not depend on it as someone who will do everything for you. So AI should be, in terms of audio content creation and any other content, should be the very good friend to whom you go when you have started working on your assignments or tasks. Okay. So it is there and it is integral as well to podcasting.
All right. Now, so yesterday when we were talking about community radio and iRadio, Dr. Sridhar actually mentioned that he started a community radio at some location very quickly and invited all the students to present the content, write the scripts. Now, in podcasting also, we see that all sort of people belonging to any age group, ethnicity, community, they come forward and discuss the content. So, is there any particular, I would say, category you feel, or any person with some particular kind of qualification suitable for podcasting, or everybody is welcome and the arena is open to all? Also,
it is open to all, the last three
okay.
words.
Right.
And regarding age, the moment a person starts making those meaningful sounds called language, the person is eligible to be the audio creator. I may take time to get trained to face a camera, but audio is something which is so fundamental. You know, like that LSRW. A child learns the name and the child starts speaking couple of words, be it
Yeah.
ma, papa, and any word which comes. So it means audio is something which happens right from the beginning. Maybe it can be just a 2-year-old child
Yeah.
till the age of 100, or anyone. I mean, age is just a number. Age is not a number in terms of video.
Okay.
I'm responsibly saying it, because you get tired of your face, there will be more requirements.
Yes.
But look at Amitabh Bachchan, I mean, look at Nasiruddin Shah, or look at anyone. The voice always has the maximum strength. The face may not have the charm, but the voice does the magic. So age is just a number. Anyone, actually everyone, can be a podcaster.
Yeah, even I feel that one who starts her career from radio and then switches on to video, that person is always a better moderator, has a better screen persona.
Yes.
Also, I want to understand about the monitoring of the content, because all sort of content is being presented. Because we're talking about educational content, then everybody will do his or her research and come up with a script and present it in the audio format. Now, who's supervising it, whether it's correct or not? What about the authentication and the monitoring part?
Who is supervising it?
Yeah.
First of all, it has to be my own conscience, because learning is something, I believe, and we all know this thing from our culture, that learning is something no one can take away from you. But that can only happen when you give learning to yourself. Only then
Yeah.
you can say that you're rich. So the very first understanding is, you learn to walk when you walk. You cannot, learn from someone else. Like you say that he's walking, so it means I can also walk. No, you have to live that life. But when it comes to this thing that people do, this is an ethical question for me. So when I talk about this thing, there has to be a caution. Why? Who checks it? Everyone checks it. The moment you try to cheat someone, I would say this in my classrooms, that if I'm lying to you, and believe me, when you people are watching this thing, it is so easy for you to trace that this man is lying, because it's written here. If you are also responsible, you'll easily find out, no, this is a bluff, this is not true, he is just putting some data and everything. The same way, if you will make some content and it doesn't belong to you, there is one thing in Hindi to be mentioned, like it's a cuckoo bird or a crow, like kawa and koil can easily be recognized the moment they start speaking. So that won't work. However, technically speaking, it will take less than 20 seconds for Spotify to trace that you downloaded the content from Arijit Singh's Spotify channel and uploaded it as your song.
Okay.
The machines are smarter. YouTube, you know that when you upload a video, it immediately tells you that it's a copyrighted one. So the fundamental request that you cannot risk now, it is like it is like some illegal income coming to your account when you have a PAN number and then it is traced. Easily traceable. Do not even try or take the risk of doing some copyright infringements. If today it is found, good for you and me. If it is not found, later on it becomes a bigger risk for all of us. So the content we use, this the other side of it. Always look at the content if it is given to you as a Creative Commons content. These licenses are there in the market to understand. I mean, in the learning domain. If I have allowed the use of my content, that CC by SA, some such things are there, use the content. If the content is copyrighted, always be respectful of the privacy and the right to creativity of that person. Do not use it. There's no way in between. Then okay, no, I'm new, I will use it. I'm not making money. No. I created that intellectual property, I should be respected. You create that, you should be respected. So, and machines are very smart. I can guarantee this thing. You cannot get away from them. A human being can be polite and empathetic, but the machine will be very brutal. It will simply say, it has been deleted. Within 20 seconds it happens. Your audio has been deleted because it was found, maybe some original source was there.
Right. And sir, now one more question. What are some of the challenges that podcasters generally face because you said, after the training session, you can be a really good podcaster. It has been a trendsetter. I'm sure that you're facing some of the challenges, because yesterday when we discussed, we came across the fact that there are not enough community radio professionals here in the country, and that is why there is not
True.
enough growth or significant achievements that we expect out of the community radio process. So do you think there are similar kind of challenges in podcasting? If yes, then what are those and how they can be addressed?
Nice, good question. I would appreciate this. The question is talking about two aspects. The first one is related to me as a learner. The second one is related to the domain. Fortunately, I'm willing to make a podcast, but the domain is not market leader. The domain is not fascinating. The face is fascinating. Graphics are fascinating. Audio doesn't have the fascination. Audio needs awareness.
Yes.
When I'm speaking, I can assure one thing, even one small pronunciation error can be documented.
Yes.
But if the person is charming, like if my favorite star, like is doing an acting, I won't mind some fumbles, because I can see him, and
Yeah.
that is there. But audio, I've seen one of my mentors, Shyam Gupta sir. He was from All India Radio. He retired and still worked. There was one word, one small pronunciation error on radio, and I can see his face going red. Audio doesn't have that leniency. So that is there, which is a strict thing, because it's too strict. So this is the challenge, that audio is a kind of religious discipline where the norm is the norm. It has to have discipline. It has to have a seriousness in speaking. Why? You can't see my face. I mean, at present you can, but
Yes.
if you move away, it's all my voice. All
Yes.
expressions have to be there. I have to show everything in it. So this is how it goes. That's the challenge, that it's a tough discipline, doesn't have a fascination. The other one, which is the concluding challenge here, is we can call it literacy, digital literacy or technical literacy. We have less literacy on the part of audio training, because you need not be only, everyone wants to be maybe Barkha Dutt or Ravish Kumar or some great presenter. We need to know the back end of it.
Yes.
Without becoming an editor, without becoming a script writer, you cannot be a good presenter as well. And you also said it nicely, that if audio is good, it is comfortable to come to the screen as well later on,
Yes.
because you have trained yourself as a speaker.
Yeah.
So some people try to do a shortcut. That's a challenge, because audio demands self-awareness, a good amount of general awareness. It is
True.
required. So the moment these two things are there, you are in the trendsetter.
Okay, you're good to go. And now, sir, we're left with a few more minutes, so I request you to kindly go ahead with your demonstration. If at all we're left with any more time, we can take the remaining questions.
Thank you so much. So this was a slide thing. I'll just press the escape button, go to the browser quickly, and wish to show something to all our listeners, all our viewers. Like when we were watching this thing, I'm demonstrating something to you, inviting you all to this thing, how you can be a trendsetter. This is one podcast which was started years ago. Now, how you can be a trendsetter, please remember, you need to work on first on you, because this session should be taken first about your self enhancement, then you move to the market, then you move. And market shouldn't be considered the money making market. The word market does not mean only money, it also means the domain. I mean, as a teacher, you go to the classroom, your clients are your students, not negatively, but still you need to sell your ideas. So you need to start your podcasts. I'm demonstrating to you one podcast, which is Teacher Parv, Celebrating Learning. This podcast started just by recording on a small microphone, mobile phone, uploaded. Then I moved on to participate in awards and workshops. You become resource person. There's a lack of resource persons for podcast training. I agree, we have got masters, but there is one thing which is very special to understand, not discouraging at all, that most of the resource persons who are very, very, very good, they are elders and senior people from the radio. You can look at our chain, all these 5 days, 4 days, what are you finding? We wish that youngsters also come. And how youngsters can come? They can quickly start making content, move slightly away from this video fascination, shorts and reels. There has been too much of it. So we need to come out of it. So this is one podcast. The other one that I mentioned to you but did not show is this one as a demonstration thing. It is called podcasts, MOOCs. So pod MOOCs. I request everyone to start making all these things. This is a good market. It's something which will give you acknowledgement. It will get awards for your schools, universities, and colleges, and even for you also if you start making audio MOOCs. So this is the demonstration part from my side. Maybe we can move on if there is any question. We can extend our discussion on some insightful things as well.
Yes, sir, because we are left with very little time. So just one last question. How do you think the future is going to be for podcasting in terms of educational content? How is it going to change the way we consume educational audio content?
We do consume content, and as they say that some people say you become what you think, some people say you become what you eat. I would say you become what you speak and you become what you listen to.
Absolutely.
So whatever content you listen to should be the same the way you wish to make it. I mean, I'm taking things from internet. Am I giving it back? If I am listening to stories for my children from internet and I'm playing some bedtime stories to them from Spotify, do I have a mind that I should also be contributing? That's how this thing on the screen that I mentioned to you, like which is Kids Wani, that we brought it. So what I would say in a conclusion one is that all of us need to start contributing back to internet by making contents. So that is going to be one thing, and the future is always bright. We just need to, sometimes the dust is on the glass. So you just need to clean the glass and you see that the world on the other side was just waiting for you, and the world is always waiting for good people to start speaking. And so speak up, make your voice listen, and then go ahead and shine. The trend of podcasting is just waiting for you to join. We have enough space in educational podcasting for millions and millions of people. The world always needs education. That's what I would say.
Very beautifully summed up, sir. Thank you so much. Indeed, there are so many new dimensions to be explored. And yes, what you consume reflects the kind of person who you are. And make a good script, do your research, and make sure whatever you speak mindfully. Thank you so much, sir, once again for your time and contribution to the session. It was indeed a delightful journey with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Right. So, viewers, that was our Day 4 session titled Podcast, a Trendsetter, under the umbrella theme of our online training program, Power of Audio in Education. So I'm winding up the session over here. I hope you enjoyed the session as I did. But before I close, some of the important dates are there to be shared with you. Now let's start with Balpan Ki Kavita, an amazing ongoing competition. Let's see what it is.
क्या आपको भी गीत, कविता पढ़ने, लिखने और गाने गुनगुनाने में रुचि है? तो आइए शिक्षा मंत्रालय भारत सरकार की एक अनूठी और सराहनीय पहल का हिस्सा बने तथा भारतीय भाषाओं और अंग्रेजी में लोकगीत और कविताएं भेजें। आप दिए गए लिंक पर अपनी रचनाएं अथवा किसी अन्य रचनाकार के गीत और कविताएं भेज सकते हैं। भारतीय भाषा कविता प्रतियोगिता के नियम आदि भी आपको इसी लिंक पर उपलब्ध होंगे।
We wish you luck for the competition. Also, I would like to share with you that textbooks for grade 4 and 7 are now available on Amazon, Flipkart and NCERT website. So you can grab your copies now. And also about the training session, one more thing left to be said, that it is a training program. So there is going to be an assessment. We request you to kindly visit our CIET NCERT website for the same for more details. And now let's take a quick look at what's coming ahead. Here is the program schedule. In a short while from now, you can watch a session answer here titled Equity, Inclusion and Student Participation, Addressing Diversity Within School Culture. And rest all the programs you have been watching since morning, you can again watch them on our YouTube handle NCERT Official. So please participate in the live sessions and always give us your suggestions and comments to improve upon them. This is me, Harpreet Kaur, taking leave of you, but you stay tuned for more educational content on various platforms of ours. Take care. Namaskar.